as long as Jesper has. It's not just about getting those victories under your belt and whatnot. It's also about having fun. And I think Jesper has set themselves a goal of doing that this weekend, but has also found themselves in and winning in. Yeah,
Jesper's such a fan favourite. You know, everybody knows him, everybody loves him, and it's interesting to see that he brought Clough to the big stage here at Stuttgart. But his opponent here, Teddy Vataire, here as well, repping that Clough. But there's some slight differences in both decks.
There are.
You know, there are some slight differences. Jesper going for a little bit more of a different approach, is playing the Morwell, the tempting trap, of course. Morwell, which is interesting as well. Yeah, the Grant as well. You know, really ramping up the damage on this Clough with the unhinged scissors. And here we see, I do want to confirm to everybody watching that we are going to go into a Clough mirror right now, and this is confirmed. Joe,
do not rub your eyes.
Joe,
this is what's happening right
Joe,
now.
what deck is going to win this one, do you think?
I think a Clough Electrode is pretty favoured in this situation. It's going to be an interesting back and forth, unironically though, because both players will have to weave in some multi-prize Pokemon in many situations. Squawkabilly EX is used from both sides to try and get some decent hands going, but also if you can only take single prize knockouts, trying to target the opponent's Clough can be valuable, trying to target their Brute Bonnet and sort of put a strand on their resources in terms of Ancient Booster Energy Capsules, but also dealing with the barrel can be huge as well. So there's actually some intricacy to this mirror match, as fun as it's going to be.
Yeah, for sure. It could be a back and forth, like you said, but it could be that one player is going to be a little bit risky, playing those two prizes, playing those electrodes, you know, having to bench down the Squawkabilly. These are the small margins that could come into play in this match.
We're going to see some prize cards come down. Jesper has prized a Collapse Stadium, which could be a little bit awkward. Both of them having a couple of Bidoof and Barrel pieces in the prizes as well. I think the lines are both thick enough that we can still see Barrel hit the field, but let's get underway. If you can believe it, it's a round 8 of Swiss win and in match for two Clough Electro players, and they both led out with the Syrian Electrode. Now they realise why they're on the stream.
Yeah, now they realised. Yeah, this is going to be a fun one, folks. We're having some fun here in Stuttgart, and it's actually Teddy that's playing the Morwell, and here we see the start here from Teddy. Battle VIP pass in hand. It's going to be an optimal start here from Teddy. You can imagine a Bidoof coming down, as well as the Brute Bonnet as well.
Really nice start. Battle VIP pass alongside this Clough. This is actually quite a resource-intensive archetype. You need to get your Bidoof down as a backup draw engine. You need to get your Brute Bonnet established so you're not super reliant on your spicy season curries. So to maintain your chain of... Yes, I am saying those words out loud. These are things we have to manage throughout the entire game. And it's actually going to be an interesting one because both players can sort of pick apart the opponent's board a little bit by trying to target those things.
Yeah, it's a tale of resource management, especially we see a very often in these mirror matches, right? We usually see in the Giratina and Gardevoir as well.
Sure.
It's all about the management of those resources, you know, who can take advantage of one of those board states. And here we see Teddy even opting for the Squawkabilly, like we mentioned.
Like I said, the deck has some strange cards in it, so sometimes you need to use Squawkabilly EX to be the early game bailout. It's not ideal for either player to have started a two-prize Pokemon, but Teddy also forced to use the Squawkabilly. You can see why. The hand's not great at all.
No.
So we're going to establish some basics early, and then we're going to Squawk and Seize to see a fresh 6 here.
Yeah, and here we see Jesper just checking out. Yes, that is a Morwell. There are more options for this deck to play. Just going to go through this deck and going to opt for that Bidoof, as we mentioned, and a nice Squawk and Seize will refresh that hand 2-6. Teddy looking for an explosive start here.
Yeah, this is a really good start for Teddy, because you do need the Brute Bonnet to be established quite often to inflict status on your own Clough to trigger the unhinged scissors. So that's a key component here. It can also, of course, be used on the Hisuian Electrode V, which is currently in the active position. So it's going to be pretty happy with their opening setup here before even using their Squawk and Seize.
Yeah, I really like this switch as well, because starting that Hisuian Electrode and staring down another Hisuian Electrode is a very easy two prizes for Jesper. Just a Brute Bonnet and a Spicy Season Curry will be able to take a knockout with that Tantrum Blast for no energy, no less. Joe, pretty efficient, wouldn't you say?
And not too shabby on the other end of this hand. I believe there's an Ultra... Is there an Ultra Ball in there? No, it's a Hisuian.
I think it's a Hisuian heavy.
Yeah, not quite as good then. So no real means of drawing cards next turn outside of Town Store for Forest Sealstone. That would be the bailout play for turn 2, as we're actually going to see the early Collapse Stadium. I do really like this choice to get the Squawkabilly EX off the board immediately. Jesper's prized their own collapse stadium, so it doesn't have the same luxury, but Teddy finding this super early is going to make life more awkward as we do pass things over to Jesper. There's very much a way of getting a turn 1 knockout on the table. Really depends on how Jesper's hand lines up. This might be another Squawkability X option here because Jesper's hand does not line up nicely.
It's pretty rough as well. 2 double turbo energy also. That nest ball, there's no Clorf in the hand, so is unable to, you know, use that attachment on the Clorf as a fail-safe. So is it going to have to maybe nest ball for that Squawkability, as you mentioned?
So awkward.
Down. It's very awkward.
Yeah, because this deck really wants to utilize the single prize options.
Yeah.
But if you get rid of 2 of these double turbo energies, immediately that means you can only use Clorf a maximum of 2 times, unless your opponent is using Gust supporters to push a Clorf out the way. So this early Squawkability is pretty mandatory if Jesper wants to keep up in tempo here, but will be losing some crucial resources in order to try and establish a new hand. Because right now, I don't believe there's any way that Jesper can put any status on their own Hisuian Electrode V.
Yeah, we speak about resource management. Jesper just checking the prizes here as well. How many Pokemon are available to him in this matchup? How many Clorf have I got? How many Bidoof have I got? What's my Barbarrel line again? Because, of course, he's going to be using that Squawk and Seize to get rid of a Barbarrel as well.
That's also rough.
Which is pretty rough. And those 2 double turbo energy, as we mentioned as well. But with the Squawk and Seize, maybe finding a boss here, maybe finding a Spicy Seasoned Curry, taking an early knockout on the Hisuian Electrode. Stranger things have happened, Joe.
Yeah, and Clorf is weak to grass, let's not forget. So it would only take 1 status condition to get a knockout with the Tantrum Blast. Thanks to the weakness that Clorf has.
Yeah. I absolutely loved watching Clorf for our earlier round as well. So much fun. So much fun, Joe.
And the fun never stops.
Fun, fun, fun. And here we see the Squawkability coming down. You can imagine this is going to be quite an easy Squawk and Seize. Looking to maybe... Oh, the boss is already in hand, actually.
So if you see 6 cards, you have a decent opportunity to weave in, just if you hit from the 6 cards.
Yeah.
I really like this choice, actually. Boss's Orders on the... Oh, OK, it's on the Brute Bonnet here. I thought it was the Bidoof, but no, Brute Bonnet is going to be the selection. Also weak to grass, let's not forget. So it would only require 1 status condition.
So it just needs
for this Electrode. It would be either an Ancient Boost Energy Capsule or a Spicy Seasoned Curry here.
I think I
see Forest Seal Stone. That can help us get there, if nothing else. Ultra Ball could, and Nest Balls, so we could establish a Bidoof now at last.
Yeah, a couple of Ultra Balls.
You might also want to have a Clorf on this board so that you, because you've spent so many of your switching cards as well as so many double turbo energy, you want to have another Pokemon to follow up after this Hisuian Electrode gets its attack in.
Yeah, really like this play.
The Bidoof is the obvious choice here to start things off.
Yeah, with Ultra Ball in hand as well. Nice Barbarrel next turn.
I think you have to spend the Ultra Ball now just so that you can get a Clorf established, because you've already burned through so many of your switching cards that just getting a Clorf on the board means that once this Hisuian Electrode does get knocked out, you have another Pokemon to promote after this.
Getting a second attacker also very strong. You know, it wants to mitigate the threat just in case this Hisuian Electrode falls a bit short next turn.
So Forest Seal Stone in hand for Jesper, as well as a Professor's Research for next turn. The Boss's Orders has been played this turn.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the final card in Jesper's hand is an activator for status conditions here. You'd think it would be, the fact that we're shuffling up rather than using the Forest Seal Stone here.
Don't really want to be using Forest Seal Stone for a...
You've got to do what you've got to do. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. So maybe it does have to be the Forest Seal Stone actually here. Unless you're going to retreat and pass into something.
Pass maybe into the Brute Bonnet.
Pass into Clorf.
Clorf, yeah.
All right, just going to pass things over. Doesn't want to leave a single prize, a 2-prize Pokemon in the active position. It's going to give the play over to Teddy here, who has to move their own Brute Bonnet, as well as find double turbo energy, ideally. I think there's an escape rope in the hand. Oh, it's a Hisuian Heavy Ball.
I think I see Tool Jammer as well, perhaps. Going to be using the Hisuian Level Ball.
Yep, Heavy Ball going to check those prize cards, see what's what, and see if you can pick out any Pokemon. I think there was another Bidoof, but the board is currently full due to the collapsed stadium. Could be something to grab for later.
Not an option.
Looks like choosing to just fail this Hisuian Heavy Ball.
Yeah, thinning out the hand. Of course, does have Ultra Ball already in hand with one less card in hand. Makes that Industrious Incisors that more effective. Here we see Teddy just realigning the prize cards. Grants there, as we see as well. Just the 1-1 line of Barbarrel as well, but that's not going to be a problem with the evolution into Barbarrel this turn. So we see an Ancient Boost. It's quite an awkward Ultra Ball, actually.
I don't think it's Ultra Ball. I think it's Ancient Booster Energy Capsule here. So I think you have to Town Store, Forest Seal Stone, and then Forest Force a supporter.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I think that's the way around this hand. Yep, it is going to be the Town Store now. Replacing your Collapse Stadium is asking how many cards is in Jesper's hand. This archetype does play a number of Iono as well as Professor's Research.
And there's not much happening here for Teddy, with no retreat options. Can't attack with Hisuian Electrode. Can opt to poison both Pokemon here with the Toxic Powder, but... Oh, no, yes, of course, Town Store getting that Forest Seal Stone. Star Alchemy into the...
Professor's Research,
yeah, Professor Research, right back into the game.
Yep, you can proactively poison as well, fairly comfortably. Actually, there are escape ropes in the deck list for Teddy, so you probably don't want to use your ability just yet. You want to see the fresh 7, hope to find Switch Card as well as Double Turbo Energy in the ideal case scenario. Things don't fully align. You could still attack with your Electrode, but we saw that Jesper was a little bit hesitant to do that. Yeah. So we have to see what the Professor's Research provides here.
Just looking what he's got here. Yeah, Research coming down, not opting to use Spicy Seasoned Curry, not going to earn his own Brute Bonnet.
Doesn't help on the Brute Bonnet, unfortunately.
No, it doesn't help. Not very festive at all. Here we see a fresh 7. See the Double Turbo Energy.
No switching out.
See Tool Jammer.
Yeah, just
energy
some
booster.
Curries.
Some curry.
The hands really are comical if it doesn't come together.
Curry half and half. No.
Double Turbo on the claw. Also a Tool Jammer here.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one.
Arven.
It's going to be...
Fantastic into Snorlax, the Tool Jammer.
It sure is.
Could be for that. And here we see just a pass.
Jesper has bought themselves a turn with this retreat of Hisuian Electrode play.
It was the, Toxic Powder as well, I believe, on the Cloth.
Yeah, but the Ancient Booster prevents...
No, yeah, so it prevents the damage on the Brute Bonnet, but not on the Cloth, yeah, that's right.
Cloth gets the 1. Pass it back over to Jesper, who can get a free Town Store now, which is going to help their endeavor. They already have the Forest Seal Stones, but now can get their own Ancient Booster Energy Capsule out of the deck to help with their own Brute Bonnet before using a big Professor's Research here. So I think Jesper, in the end, will be initiating this prize race this turn. With a Research plus the Forest Seal Stone, you know that the active Cloth, it's already poisoned, can just take a knockout on this Brute Bonnet.
I've got to ask you, for a lot of people watching this matchup, mirror matches, usually people determine it by saying, oh, well, it's just the first person that takes a knockout, right? It's just usually the person who is ahead of the prize race first. Is that the case in this one?
No, I don't think it is, because they have such specific setup that at any point in the game, boss's orders from either player could remove a Brute Bonnet play or remove a Bibarrel, and that can end up slowing down an archetype like this, where they have to re-establish new ways to inflict status. As we see the big Professor's Research here for Jesper. You probably would need to find Hisuian Sneasler here as well, so that your damage can get through the Brute Bonnet. It has 180 hit points right now, thanks to the boost of Ancient Boost Energy Capsule.
Yeah, Sneasler was drawn there by Jesper.
Oh, but you can't even poison the Brute Bonnet either. So can Cloth even knock out Brute Bonnet here?
No energy either. So Unhinged Scissors isn't an option either.
That's really rough.
Star Alchemy is still live for Jesper, but it's what he gets, I guess.
If you... Well, the way you can get a knockout is with Electrode once again. You could just find a switching option, then poison Electrode, but just going to be the pass again. So yeah, that extra hit points and the fact that you can't be inflicted by status conditions, thanks to the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule and a Research whiff there for Jesper. They're going to have a really tough time and had to pass things back over to Teddy. I did not expect it to be this cat and mouse so early on.
I didn't expect it to be this enthralling, this matchup. But here we see the Arven coming down for Teddy.
Going to be a switch card certainly here with the Arven.
Has to be. Such a good supporter option in this deck, of course, with all these tool cards flying about and the items that need to be used. Get your curries out, get your ropes out.
Arven's such a versatile support card. We've seen it over and over again in different archetypes. You can get that early battle VIP pass, so you're always happy to see an early Arven, but in the mid-game, in these sorts of situations, if you can build your deck around it, you can cherry-pick the escape ropes, the switch carts, the spicy seasoned curries as well. So it actually does synergize quite nicely with an archetype like this, especially because there is Forest Seal Stone, which can end up grabbing any card, and of course the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule is so vital for this archetype as well. So really oozing with synergy, the Arven in this deck list.
My goal is to try and make you say Spicy Season Curry as much as possible, Joe.
And how fast I can say it is another challenge.
Yeah, Switch Cart being an option here for Teddy, as well as the Forest Seal Stone. V-Star already used, but of course thinning is winning, as we always say. So the attachment there to the Bidoof as well. The Switch Cart, you can imagine it's going to be straight into that Clorf.
Let's get rolling with Clorf. Yeah, the unhinged scissors. When the Clorf is affected by a status condition, you deal an additional 160 damage to the 30 base damage. That's why the Brute Bonnet is in here. It looks like an anti-synergy, but it activates the unhinged scissors to deal a huge chunk here. And Teddy will finally be initiating this prize race. It's been a couple turns for both players, but we have kicked things off here. Teddy taking the first prize.
The hero of Stuttgart, Clorf. Taking the first prize card here, of course.
What timeline
Teddy's
is this?
Side. Yeah.
The only
universe
time. Yeah, I know, right?
This is the Clorf universe. Yeah.
Oh, Jesper picking up the escape rope would have been a fantastic draw last turn. Yeah. Can still be used this turn fairly effectively. But actually, Teddy can once again block escape rope with just bringing the Brute Bonnet back into the active position. So Jesper has, again, an awkward time having to move their own Brute Bonnet now. Might just be forced into Iono, hoping for some better cards, and then still has that Forest Seal Stone unflipped to use this turn. Things are looking awkward for Jesper, though.
Yeah. Maybe even forced to use the Suian Electrode.
Yeah, you don't want to do it.
You don't want to do it.
I'm surprised Jesper didn't commit a Forest Seal Stone just to any other Pokemon here. I suppose there's a chance that the Hisuian Electrode V gets knocked out without flipping this Forest Seal Stone, but I'd like to never draw back into this card. Even with the Town Store able to like pull it back out of the deck, it would reset your deck, and all of those cards that just got shuffled to the bottom are pretty poor.
Gonna be hoping for an energy here for the Clorf.
Or a switch card. We can fix everything with the Forest Seal Stone, but not a hand like that.
No.
There is too much curry in that hand.
There's too much curry. You can,
I did not think that was possible.
I never say that either. That's really rare for me. Another curry.
That's the first time I've ever said there is too much curry in this situation.
And here we see the Forest Seal Stone being an option for Jesper from that Town Store, just thinning out the deck. But like you said, that hand not looking very good.
It's actually so interesting that the escape rope can block. The Brute Bonnet can block a Clorf coming back in. It's an intricacy I didn't expect, but here we go. I'm learning the mirror match on the fly.
You're learning, Joe. Who would have thought it?
I'm learning all the avenues with Clorf, especially in this mirror match.
Yeah, the intricacies.
Yeah. This is an unhinged matchup.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know really where Jesper goes from here. Maybe he is forced to use the Electrode.
We're going to see the Forest Seal Stone. So Jesper's got a plan. It's grabbing Boss's Orders, I believe it was, for next turn. Yeah. Maybe Jesper's looking for an interesting line with resources. Maybe some early discards from Teddy. He's going to give Jesper that avenue to try and win the game.
Yeah, try and run Teddy out of maybe some switching outs.
Yep.
Perhaps an option, but Iono already used this turn, so no option to use the support and just uptick that poison and the pass over to the Pokemon checkup, and we're back over to Teddy's side. Yeah,
some additional damage due to the Radiant Sneasler as well. And we are going to see things turn back over to Teddy, who gets their own Hisuian Sneasler onto the board. Once again, can continue to swing into Brute Bonnet. And actually, the Tool Jammer will allow a KO for Teddy here. This is actually
this is actually really
swing here. The fact that the Brute Bonnet does not currently have 180 hit points, thanks to the Tool Jammer, it's an easy way for Teddy to go up another prize card here.
Hisuian Sneasler coming down. The Poison Peak active now for Teddy. However, on Unhinged Scissors can just take another knockout here on the Brute Bonnet. And Teddy, 2 prizes up here in this matchup.
It's actually going pretty swimmingly for Teddy. Has to be a little bit concerned about the poison between turns, that Pokemon checkup, as we call it, because that could be a way that Jesper gets pretty creative. But it feels like Teddy's pretty nicely ahead in the race here without having to commit too many resources to the board. Let's see how Jesper wants to respond with this. They took a Boss's Orders last turn. Let's see where Jesper's plan comes together here.
2 VRP pass in the hand, not what the doctor ordered for Jesper. Not really much use after the first turn. It's really clogging up that hand, unfortunately, for him. Just a check of Teddy's discard pile.
One switch card. There's still plenty of switching options for Teddy in the deck list.
Yeah.
They have another switch card. They have escape rope. They still have energy that they can turn attach, of course, to pay retreat a number of their Pokemon. So if Jesper is looking for this tight resource war, it's actually going to be pretty close. And I think Teddy might be able to get there. It just is about Teddy timing when to move in with Clorf and make sure they're targeting Hisuian Electrode V and Squawkabilly EX that's currently on the board for Jesper.
Yeah, it seems like Jesper as well is, you know, he's trying to strike at the right time, it seems.
Jesper doesn't know, yeah.
And Jesper, yeah, just unsure whether to use that boss, but does use it on that Brute Bonnet.
It looks like Jesper's made this plan and he's just going to stick with it. There are a couple switching cards gone. There are 2 double turbo energies committed to other Pokemon right now. There is a 3 retreat cost on Brute Bonnet. And maybe Jesper's played enough Clorf today that has realized that this could be a backdoor win condition.
And unfortunately for Jesper, there's 4 prizes on his board state. He's got the Electrode, he's got the Squawkabilly as well. So a couple of bosses from Teddy and he can take the game. But not with that hand, Joe. Not with that hand.
Is going to have to burn a Spicy Season Curry here.
Season Curry coming down.
-1 for the barrel draw here for 1 card.
What is it? I believe that's a Super Rod?
Super Rod, which isn't changing too much.
Yeah.
So it is just going to be...
Yeah, just a pass.
The pass here. It's going to be... Oh, sorry, the Brute Bonnet using its ability, the Toxic Powder, to start pressurizing Jesper a little bit here.
And of course, with that Poison Peak as well, just 2 additional damage counters when poisoned for the Clorf. So 3 damage counters in between checkup. Could be, you know, it could be relevant as we get into it.
And where does Jesper go from here?
Yeah, I'm unsure.
They basically got into this position where they said, well, maybe I can run my opponent out of resources. If Jesper is going for this avenue, they probably have to get their Brute Bonnet back into the active position with another Ancient Booster Energy Capsule so that this poison ticking that Teddy's gone for can't rack up.
Yeah, and of course, Forest Sealstone used as well, so no option to get any energy, so no prizes for Jesper this turn. And then we see just a pass over to Teddy, and you know, just one switch. Oh, top decks the Iono there, that definitely helps. Refresh that hand for sure. The 2 VIP passes he'll want straight on the bottom of his deck. But
happy just passing,
happy just passing.
Yeah, Teddy not threatened by this. They're up in prize cards. They don't need to play anything from the hand right now. They're just going to force Jesper into this position to actually deal with this problem themselves.
That was actually very relevant.
Coin flip of heads for burn.
Oh no, it's already on 100 damage, so that will mean that the poison uptick will mean
Jesper burning his Spicy Season Curries now, just throwing one down every turn.
With that Spicy Season Curry, that will prevent that knockout for Teddy. Definitely doesn't. Any sort of prizes here for Teddy is only going to be more of an advantage, but I think it's maybe just a pass.
Wild.
This is wild here from Jesper, and with that Tails, well, it wouldn't have even mattered anyway. This Clorf is definitely being knocked out with just a Pokemon checkup.
Game we've seen all day.
Is this weird? Is this genius? Is this genius from both of our players?
Teddy with an expert pass. Take another KO here due to status conditions. Jesper can finally bring their own Brute Bonnet into the active position. Also has to be careful about using their own Professor's Research, because that's a way that you could then end up having less cards remaining in your deck than your opponent. So we'll just instead Town Store for an Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. We'll swing that onto the active and hope that it's tricky for Teddy to find a way to KO this Pokemon.
Yeah, we're possibly missing a trick here. Both very, very, very different game plans. Jesper looking for more of that stall and strike when it's hot, the iron's hot, but Teddy continuing to take these prize cards, sees himself now 3 prize cards away from going 1-0 in this matchup. It's just another pass from
With
Jesper.
the Tool Jammer that Teddy has, I actually think they're in such a good position. They can take an easy knockout here once again with the Clorf with Tool Jammer, and then they just need to find 1 boss's orders to finish off a Hisuian Electrode V or Squawkabilly. It should not be too tricky for Teddy to map out these last few prizes. Yeah, even with Jesper trying to bring back the Brute Bonnet into the active position every time.
Yeah, 2 attacks away now from taking the game, technically, for Teddy. Just the Hisuian Electrode on the bench would just be an easy 2 prizes with his own Hisuian Electrode, but also the Squawkabilly as well as an option for Teddy.
Is that the boss's orders option here via the Pokegear?
I think I see the boss's orders there.
You can see the debate, right? You don't want to. You want to use this card so you can take an additional prize knockouts, but it also blocks your Bibarel a little bit. Unless you can weave in a boss this turn, it's one of those cards that you'd like to have, but also you're slowing down your own roll with Bibarel here.
Yeah.
You do have Ultra Ball, which can reduce a couple of cards from this hand, but I still think you're pretty clogged up.
Still needs to find the switch out.
Yeah.
That's the problem here for...
Are we going to be in a pass-off here? Player's going to pass for a number of turns.
Oh, no.
It's going to be Boss's Orders onto Bidoof, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Spending the Boss's Orders now.
And with only 2 Pokemon checkups, this Bidoof will be knocked out.
It does pressurize some action here from Jesper, who's been leaking prizes all game. Going to see a potential Ultra Ball here.
Yeah, going to have to find a switch out of his own. Ultra Ball, 2 Battle VRP pass.
You can remove status by evolving as well, of course.
Yeah, that's a very obvious evolution there for Jesper. Evolving will remove that poison, as you mentioned. So that Bidoof safe from poison for this turn.
This is such an interesting position. I feel like Teddy's in a really good spot. They've just spent a Boss's Orders, which might make things a little bit trickier. And Jesper has clearly identified this as a line of play very, very early on. If it pays off, it's going to look phenomenal. If not, I'm going to kind of question what's gone on here.
I won with Cloth on stream. And here we see
this is how I play the mirror.
Here we see the pass over to Teddy. Going to be looking to capitalise here again.
Does the draw anything helpful? I'm not too sure.
I think it was another Hisuian Electrode.
Yeah, not helpful then. Yeah, we're just going to continue with our Brute Bonnet Toxic Powder. This will probably force an action from Jesper this turn.
You'd imagine so. You'd imagine Jesper's thinking, right, now I'm going to be... Now I've got to start looking. Now I've got to start looking for these. Please start looking for some options. No Cloth on the field, though. So no other attackers other than the Hisuian Electrode. Looking for the iron. Let's just pass
Look at the patience from Jesper here. But going to go down another prize card.
Teddy's just going to pass, and yeah, that's just another knockout.
What a great play.
What a fantastic... That's genius. That's absolutely
2 prize cards remain for Teddy now. Jesper is really hoping that an active Brute Bonnet is going to be the downfall of Teddy here. The prize race, that's out the window. That's never happening for Jesper at this point. There's too many attackers already established on Teddy's side of the field. Jesper's only chance of winning this game is that this Brute Bonnet cannot be affected by status conditions, and Teddy's Brute Bonnet has too high of a retreat cost to move out of the active position at this point. Jesper hoping that they have too many cards remaining in the deck and can simply pass the game away to win here.
Being only 2 prize cards away is just a boss and a switch out for Teddy that's required. Squawkabilly or Hisuian Electro, take your pick. I think Spicy Season Curry was in the hand for Teddy. And here we see just another pass. Here we go. What was it?
I feel like Teddy has to just continue to be patient.
It's an Arven.
That's a big piece. That could be a switch out, could be a escape rope. I think you probably just want to hold it in the hand until you combine this with Boss's Orders. Don't get too carried away, moving out of the active position. There is a switch cart here. I believe there's switch cart and escape rope still in the deck. So if you do just want to take individual knockouts, you could go in with your Cloth with the Tool Jammer right now if you wish.
Oh, and here we see the concession.
Yeah, still so many resources remain for Teddy, which meant that we had a very strange back and forth in that game 1.
Yeah, Teddy going 1-0 here in round 8. One more win away from going 6-3 in 6-2, sorry, in this Stuttgart Regional Championships with Cloth Electrode, no less. Game plans, next game. Jesper, got to change, I think.
Possibly. I mean, maybe it's a victim of just having a slower start and things didn't come together quite perfectly. That could just be the situation here where Jesper went down a couple prizes just by having poor hands and then thought, well, I can never really race effectively if I can't target down the barrel, if there's not enough multi-prizes for me to catch up on. You have to go for these untraditional lines. And I think it's fair enough, really. I understand it looks a little bit silly when you end up just passing away so many prize cards, but you can see what they were going for and if there were possibly more awkward prizes from Teddy. And let's face it, you don't always know your opponent's deck list. This is still not really an unrefined archetype, but one where the counts aren't nailed down, I would say. That it is still going to be an interesting one, and just hope that your opponent doesn't have enough switches to ultimately get over the line. In this case, Teddy was able to do so.
The game plans can be a bit odd, especially when you've got a Cloth mirror, for sure. The Pokemon checkup coming up trumps here for Teddy.
Yeah, but it does actually add an extra. Well. It does add an extra element to the matchup. But also, yeah, the fact that you can just be like, oh, I think that you've played 1 too many switches or 1 too many double turbo energy has gone onto a Cloth, and then suddenly the Brute Bonnet can get stuck. So surprisingly, Teddy's choice of Tool Jammer was absolutely massive in this game.
Yeah. Here we see the prizes come down. Not too detrimental for either players. here. There are a couple.
Ooh, a 2-prize lead again for Jesper, which is awkward. Teddy starts off with a Hisuian heavy ball straight away. Yeah, you do not want to have to use your multi-prize Pokemon.
No.
If you can help it. We saw that Jesper, the only time they did retreat was actually to move this Electrode out of the way all of last game. And Teddy can pick up an early Bidoof, which is really nice actually here.
And we mentioned how easy it was for the Cloth to knock out the Hisuian Electros. Just one Brute Bonnet, one Spicy Caesar Curry, and it's just knocked out. We know how much damage the Unhinged Scissors can do, and especially with the uptick from the poison, from the burn, it will take an easy 2 prizes. And here we see the Squawkabilly come down for Teddy, hoping for an explosive turn just like the last as well.
It's looking like a good one. We have Ultra Ball in here. We can get rid of Town Store and Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. Then we can find another Brute Bonnet, and we can use our other Ancient Booster Energy Capsule, and then see a fresh 6 from Squawkabilly. So, well mapped out early here for Teddy. A game up in our round 8. A victory gets them to a 6-2 record. So we just need one more match point to secure their place into day 2 of the competition. And is in, once again, a really solid position.
Yeah, fantastic start from Teddy. Unfortunate, as we mentioned, the start from Jesper with the Hisuian Electrode V. But the Squawkabilly, Squawk and Seize, going to be drawing a fresh 6 cards for Teddy. Going to be hoping for some more basics to come down. Start getting those attackers set up. More Cloth, Joe.
More Cloth.
I want more Cloth.
Give me another Cloth.
Please. Here we see fresh 6 here. What have we got? What have we got, Teddy? We got a Hisuian Sneasel. We got another Cloth as well.
That's actually pretty handy. You can get some preliminary damage onto the Hisuian Electrode V if you wish. Another Cloth. Yeah, this is ideal.
This is a fantastic hand. Double Turbo Energy in hand as well.
Supported with Barrel for next turn. That is everything you would want.
That is an amazing hand. And the switch outs, just in case.
We're all groovy here.
Yeah.
It's just going to be the pass. You don't actually need to put the extra damage on because you've already commit your Hisuian Sneasel to the board. So Teddy actually more concerned about damaging their own Cloth in this situation with Poison Ticks. So it's going to forego using the Poison Powder. Let's see how Jesper's hand lines up.
I think I see the Squawkabilly, see an Escape Rope as well.
Battle VIP pass. Going to start the turn off with Escape Rope, just to burn it by the looks of things.
Easy choice there from Teddy. We see 2 Battle
Here
VIP pass. Here we go. Jesper's popping off with the 2 Battle VIP pass. Great start here from both of our players. We see a Sneasler, Cloth. I think I saw
a Bidoof in there as well,
yeah, the
most
Bidoof,
likely.
Sorry, yeah, I think I saw the Bidoof
More
as well.
Cloth, exactly what we asked for. I'm honestly surprised that Jesper didn't go for an early Battle VIP pass, then Escape Rope. I suppose if you put a Cloth down and then you Escape Rope, it does allow Teddy to just throw up Brute Bonnet, but that is quite like a high-level choice, I suppose. It's not always going to be the obvious option, especially with 2 Ancient Boosters committed already, 1 discarded early before the Squawk and Seize. So I feel like I would have liked to get Cloth into the mix here, especially if you are going to be using a Squawkabilly EX yourself this turn.
Yeah, maybe looking to use the Hisuian Electrode this turn.
Yeah.
Take an early knockout.
We know the risks, though. Using a 2-prize Pokemon is always awkward.
And also, in addition to poisoning yourself as well, not fantastic, especially with the with another Cloth searing down your neck.
Might depend on what Jesper's eyeing up. I believe there might also be Boss's Orders in the hand as well, perhaps. That could also be influencing the decision for Jesper. If you play the Escape Rope, then your opponent gives you a Pokemon that you would have liked, and you just get it for free, essentially.
Does have the Forest Seal Stone as well.
I think I like Boss's Orders here quite a bit, honestly. You've got the Forest Seal Stone backup, so it feels pretty safe to go for this line.
Just looking, just floating here as to what's a boss, but no, it doesn't.
That's interesting. I would like to go for Brute Bonnet there, actually, because, of course, you are threatening Grass Weakness, and that would be a second Ancient Boost Energy Capsule you could take off the board. And then you'd really put Teddy in a situation where they'd have to find Spicy Season Curry every single turn of the game.
Yeah, and not always an option.
Jesper has found Spicy Season Curry themselves and has Forest Seal Stone, so can launch an attack if they wish.
Does go for...
Double Turbo Energy means that we might have a way of getting out of the active position for Jesper here. And this is really the question. Last game, Jesper decided to retreat and pass.
Yeah.
In pretty much a similar position to this one, I would say. We'll see if they want to actually take the initiative with a prize race here.
Yeah, looking for... If he's looking to retreat now, that just makes that Escape Rope double VRP pass even more
we have Spicy Season Curry, we have Switch, and we do have Double Turbo Energy, so we can Cloth on Cloth and scissor the active opponent's option.
Okay.
Some crab fighting.
Spicy Caesar Curry here.
Oh, interesting. So we'll be attacking with the Electrode, actually.
Yeah.
Thanks to weakness.
Yeah, taking the knockout there on the Cloth, and Jesper going one prize up. Tails there, Burn does stay here on the Electrode, but here Teddy staring down an easy 2 prizes, you would say, against this Hisuian Electrode.
You'd think so. There's already the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule committed to the Brute Bonnet on the bench. And we know that Teddy's hand was exceptional. Had Iono, had Barrel already in hand and double turbo energy, so is already set to take a 2-prize response here.
And the top deck of the double turbo energy, not too shabby either. Already had one in hand anyway. But does have the Iono, can put Jesper down to 5 cards in hand if he wishes.
Possibly a debate to just see 2 additional cards with the Barrel first, because of course you're topping up to 6 here. But typically you will find some playables after this Iono, and then you can still try and top up with Industrious Incisors. This is a really nice disruptor here. Jesper hasn't yet developed their own Barrel, so this is going to be slightly disruptive. And we know that Teddy is going to be going up 2 prizes, so your own Iono gets diminishing returns. And nice, we see Nest Ball here, so we can continue to develop more Cloth. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, second attacker on board.
Another one.
Another one. 4 Cloth, Teddy. You're insane.
That is insane. 4 spicy seasoned curry, more like.
That's insane.
That is insane.
Yeah, and here we see Teddy looking at that fresh 6 spicy seasoned curries. Switch out. I think there's a couple of switch, actually. And the Hisuian Electrode with another double turbo energy. This is fantastic here from Teddy. Great hand going into the next turn as well. I believe Unhinged Scissors does take the knockout, right?
Yeah. With the already damaged Electrode and the buff from Hisuian Sneasler on the bench. We are getting over the line with Unhinged Scissors. So Teddy once again ahead in the prize race here. Let's see how Jesper can respond from the Iono. I believe there's Ultra Ball here already, so can at least get a bit barrel their side. They are going to quickly use Hisuian Heavy Ball for no targets to continue to reduce their hand size down before establishing their own draw engine here.
Really wants to get rid of that Squawkabilly. I think that Squawkabilly is such a
We've got to jig towards Collapse Stadium,
yeah, such a risk on this on the bench at the moment.
I believe the Sneasler is also in hand, so you can actually refill your bench if you wish.
Yeah.
To start looking towards that Collapse Stadium. There's also Boss's Orders on the mind in case you can go for a 2-prize knockout back onto Teddy's Squawkabilly EX. That's the big issue of you wanting to get rid of yours, but in doing so, you allow Teddy to remove their own 2-prize Pokemon, so you'd have to probably Boss's Orders first.
Seems they're coming down, double turbo attached, fresh 5.
Really well played from Jesper there to reduce their hand size down.
Yeah, Star Alchemy used as well, so it's going to have to draw into that.
Well, we have found some status activators. That was also a big piece.
Yeah.
You probably don't want to research this hand. It's a switching out, it's a double turbo energy, and it's a spicy season curry, so I think you probably just have to take the Unhinged Scissors play here.
With no more Cloth on the bench as well, you're going to be hoping to draw into one to attach that double turbo energy to it.
Yeah, it's an awkward few cards, actually.
Awkward.
The Professor's research is pretty well blocked here because of the other cards you've drawn together.
Yeah, it's an awkward
Probably just have to accept a single prize knockout and level up the prize race, but still gives the initiative to Teddy to continue to take more.
It's all about resources, like we said with these mirror matches, right? It's all about, you know, opting for the research. This is interesting.
Yep. Looks like Jesper's still looking for more pieces along the way. Possibly just thinking that if you don't research this turn, you can't Iono next turn.
Yeah.
And you probably want to weave that in for Teddy next turn, if you can, to just reduce their hand size down a little bit.
This is really interesting because this basically forces Jesper into having to take the knockout on the Squawkabilly, right? Unless using Hisuian Electrode, actually.
Yeah, that's the other option. Because Squawkabilly does have a resistance as well, so it can sometimes be a little trickier for the Cloth to get over the line.
Yeah, so here we see a draw from Teddy. What was it? I think it was a double turbo energy, another one. Here we see the...
More Cloth.
More Cloth. There's just Cloth everywhere.
You wanted Cloth?
Yeah.
We give you Cloth.
Here we see the Hisuian Heavy Ball coming down.
I believe it's a Grant that's in hand as the supporter choice
as well. There's so much going on in this hand.
Iono's still a play for Teddy. Both players have established a barrel now, so Iono's not that effective.
I think that's an Iono as well as a Hisuian Electrode.
Yep.
That is interesting to see whether he puts the Hisuian Electrode down. Does need a second attacker on board.
He's going to take the risk with Iono here. So we are still looking for things for Teddy this turn, as you say. Ideally, you bench another Clorf, but you could also weave in and Hisuian Electrode V if you have to.
Don't want to be forced to. Oh, that is
We have drawn into another one and not much else, so it could be a bit barrel 1 card if you really wish.
Still have to use a status condition, so can opt to use the Spicy Seasoned Curry if you wish, but maybe
if you're trying to minus your hand, that's also true.
Maybe wanting to use it for the Hisuian Electrode specifically. Does have Arven in hand as well.
Yeah, that's going to be solid for next turn. Is this going to go... Oh, not even using the barrel draw here.
No, it's just going to be an unhinged scissors.
Or is at least just confirming the status.
Yeah.
And then going for the unhinged. Okay, so this does force a little bit from Teddy. Means that if Jesper is able to take a response KO onto the active Clorf, which shouldn't be too difficult. We know there's already a Clorf raring to go in the back. This will mean that Teddy has to find a combination of cards to come up with a backup attacker next turn.
I got something to tell you, Joe. I see a boss in hand. I see a boss in hand for that Squawkabilly.
Is boss right, though? Because there's a Clorf that you can take out, and then you force a lot of options from Teddy.
Yeah, it's a good point.
It's actually tough now.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough way around it.
Especially if Jesper can go for hand disruption this turn as well. I know there's the barrel available, but your opponent was deliberating playing cards, then didn't, and maybe that means they're lining up a play for the following turn.
It still means that Jesper's technically 3 attacks away from taking the game, right? Even if he does take a knockout on this.
I do like this choice more, though.
Okay.
You give Teddy 3 cards, and then a couple of barrel draws as well. But Teddy has to find Clorf, Energy, Switch Out. That's a lot to find. Otherwise, Teddy has to find Electrode, and that feeds Jesper the 2-prizer that can help you on your own prize map. So Jesper is behind on the sort of attack race. He's trying to make it hard for Teddy to launch another attack next turn. Yeah,
Jesper taking advantage of Teddy not having the second attacker on board.
Yeah, so that was what we were debating last turn.
Yeah, right? It requires a lot more now from Teddy. So probably regretting not putting down the Hisuian Electrode.
Well, we'll see. It depends. It depends if Teddy can rebuild or not.
Yeah. We've seen
Jesper's done everything they can here to get another Clorf ready to rumble. Will does need to status condition themselves before announcing an attack, though.
We're hoping.
Just going to take a look at the discard pile. Doesn't want to commit a double turbo energy to the board unless they have enough switching cards remaining. We've seen that Jesper has identified that trying to stop the opponent attacking via trapping Brute Bonnet is a play. So Jesper may want to keep an eye on their own usage of double turbo energy here.
Yeah, it's all about those resources, like we said, isn't it? You know,
Jesper seems happy enough to attach to another Clorf, and we'll draw 3 additional cards. There's a couple switches, so it's pretty well safeguarded around that now.
Yeah, that's
not much else, though, going on in the hand.
Yeah, nice draws here from...
Poison themselves with Brute Bonnet. And unhinged scissors one more time from Jesper. 3 prize cards remain for them. And this is really a decisive turn for Teddy.
Yeah.
Can they find a way to weave in an attacking option here? If not, you can just send up the Brute Bonnet and say, deal with this for a turn. I'm not ready just yet. But Teddy bringing up the Squawkabilly might identify that there's other plans in motion here.
Does have the escape rope.
Yeah,
that still needs to draw into that second attacker.
Boss's orders on the barrel.
Maybe looking to thin down that hand even more.
Is it going to be boss countercatcher rope? Like, what's going on here? It's so much gusting in the hand.
Can't use countercatcher either at the moment.
That's so interesting to use the boss's orders before any other card here. It's just going to be an Industrious Incisors for 2.
2. Does have escape rope. Oh, it's a Hisuian Electrode as well. And has the Spicy Seasoned Curry.
Wow. Wow. I'm speechless. We can go Electrode. We can go escape rope, then counter catch. And go down to 1 prize here for Teddy.
Yeah.
How is this planned out?
I absolutely have no idea.
Ben, my knees are weak.
Oh, no, it's just a pass. It's just a pass here from Teddy. Looking for a pass here. And Jesper going for the Ultra Ball.
Getting rid of some barrel pieces. They're actually level on prize cards, so there is no option to counter catch. So that's why it was just clogging up the hand right now. I'm still amazed there wasn't a... Well, yeah, I guess you can't rope first.
Yeah, you can't.
It was just always going to be a trapping play, but why did we go Squawkabilly if we're going to trap? Why is Brute Bonnet not in the active position?
Yeah, it's an easy 2 prizes now for Jesper, right?
Maybe you're expecting Jesper to have as many ropes as you do. Jesper did have the switch in hand, though, so is going to have a really nice opportunity to go down to 1 prize card themselves now.
And with Jesper with the second attacker aboard now as well, pretty rough for Teddy to come back.
Don't tell me that Teddy now is going to use countercatcher on Jesper's Bonnet and just hope that they can't have the resources to close out the final prize.
Yeah, it's not me, it's you. And my head hurts.
I've seen too many Clorfs.
Taking 2 prizes there, Drapion V and the Balvia P-Pass as well. There's an Ultra Ball in hand.
This is a tough one for Teddy.
Yeah.
Counter Catcher now is live.
Yeah.
That's something.
You see, you would have hoped to have taken the knockout with the Hisuian Electrode last turn, and at least now with Counter Catcher, if Jesper was able to take the knockout on a Counter Catcher, then they, on the Hisuian Electrode, then Counter Catcher was live, right? Yeah. So that could have been the game plan for Teddy.
Yeah, so Teddy could have taken just a single prize knockout with Escape Rope last turn, and then would have activated their own Counter Catcher for a 2-attack game plan. But Counter Catcher onto Bibarrel.
Yeah. Jesper would have been forced to take a knockout on the Hisuian Electrode, then Counter Catcher's free, and of course you would have hoped to have drawn into another attacker, of course, but...
We're just going to see the Poison Tick from Teddy here. So Jesper needs to find, ideally, Escape Rope here.
Does have
Switch at the very least, but that cannot knock out Brute Bonnet right now, thanks to the Ancient Boost Energy Capsule denying Brute Bonnet from being affected by status conditions. Jesper actually has to move this Bonnet out the way right now.
Most importantly, we also have the Collapsed Stadium. So Jesper can get rid of the Squawkabilly now this turn, effectively meaning that Teddy will need 3 turns of attacking to take the game. If that's Jesper's game plan.
Going to be reducing their hand size with the Ultra Ball, getting rid of Battle VIP Pass and Drapion. Not sure how many cards Jesper can actually see here as they work towards their end game. Also, just good to check to see if the Escape Rope was still in the deck, of course. Something to work towards here. There is an Escape Rope in the discard pile for Jesper, but they do play 2 copies. There's the Collapse Stadium.
There's the Collapse Stadium, yeah.
That actually really does safeguard Jesper quite nicely, because if you just pass again with the barrel, that's going to naturally get knocked out via status. So
Teddy needs to start attacking and not getting knocked out, and that's pretty hard in this matchup. Pretty hard in this matchup with the Hisuian Electrode being so vulnerable to the Unhinged Scissors. You know, it's kind of perfect maths with the burning and the poisoning for the Clorfs to take an easy knockout. So really tough one here for Teddy.
Does Jesper have to stay patient? Could just be a 1-card draw from Bibarrel here. Yeah, holds on to every other resource. Nest Ball is unplayable thanks to Collapse Stadium right now. We're not going for a handshake.
We're not.
I want to see this discard pile, please.
We're not handshaking.
That's hilarious.
We've all had a story.
Mid-game handshake.
Yeah, we've all.
I'm just really enjoying this right now. I'm just
really enjoying your time. I'm really enjoying your Clorf deck.
Hey, look at us.
Hey, look at us right now. Who would have thought it?
Who would have thought it? Not me.
5-2. Who would have thought it? No,
it's going to be a pass for Jesper in the end. Going to allow this Bibarrel to get knocked out via Poison Ticks. Teddy has found Ultra Ball, so can reduce their hand size a little bit for more Bibarrel draw now.
Yeah.
The hope for Teddy has to be that you can continue to take these knockouts. Now that Bibarrel's going down, your Iono will be more effective, so if we can draw into an Iono, it could be huge. Here's more as well. Tempting Trap is a tech inclusion that Teddy has in their arsenal.
I think what's interesting here as well about the Bibarrel, once the Bibarrel is knocked out, Teddy's also on, of course, two prizes. But no, of course, then
maybe we're just trapping.
Yeah.
maybe.
Oh, my!
Just getting into the mix.
My head's just exploding.
There's too many lines. This is the most complex deck in the format. It turns out. Spicy Season Curry coming down. Escape Rope coming in. Decision for Jesper. Teddy did not want to allow Jesper to take or to give up this prize card. Jesper can just go into a Clorf as expected here.
Yeah. Interesting.
The Morwell comes into the active position. It's a big 5 cards from Bibarrel.
Here we see 1, 2, 3.
None of these look great.
No. Tool Jammer, switch carts.
Carts back into your Brute Bonnet if you like.
Yeah, we do have.
Forest Stone is live.
Yeah, we have Forest Stone, yeah.
So that could be valid if we're looking for this.
We also have Town Store as well.
Town Store, yeah, can bump the Collapse Stadium. Maybe if you get a second Brute Bonnet with another Ancient Booster Energy Capsule as well, you play around Escape Rope.
Yeah.
So much intricacy as we get to this late game. No one saw this coming. When we showed the Clorf Electrode Mirror match in round 8.
Yeah,
3 minutes left on the clock. Teddy 1 game up and is in the claws of defeat right now.
Yeah. In the clutches of Jesper right now. And the switch cart coming down here, switching back into the Brute Bonnet.
Grip with Clorf. I've got tons of these.
Yeah, keep them coming. That's fine. Tool Jammer coming down on the Morwell as well.
Yeah, I think passing into Brute Bonnet is pretty much the best option you have. going to be another toxic powder. And Jesper will tick up.
Again, another fist bump, maybe. Just there. I just want to have a look at your discard pile.
So weird for Jesper as well.
Yeah.
You can't play this switch. These curries are pretty important as well. You just have to sort of let it happen.
Yeah. It's going to
be the unhinged scissors for 10 damage.
10 damage. 10 whole damage. That is massive. Arvin also coming down here into Teddy's hand. Also have that Forest Seal Stone, of course, going down on the Electrode V. Still active as well, Star Alchemy, as an option for Teddy.
It should be more than 10 damage, right? You should be dealing 170 and leave the Brute Bonnet on 10 remaining. Because the modifier's on you, right? So there should be more than 10 on this Brute Bonnet. We do just need to confirm how much damage is on the Brute Bonnet. The Brute Bonnet should be surviving by 10 rather than...
Yes. I believe so, yeah. So it should be...
It's not just going to be 10 base damage because you are poisoned yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
Players are just going over this situation as we're going to see a switch cart from the Brute Bonnet, but it should still be heavily damaged here.
Yeah.
We're going into Moorwile with a switch cart here.
Got the town map down as well, so Club Stadium now...
The barrel for 4 cards?
The barrel for 4.
Yeah, so the Brute Bonnet now should have 40 hit points remaining.
That's right.
170 from the Clorf. Because it's damaging itself. You can see where the confusion has come from. We've just seen how good Brute Bonnet is at tanking, but it can only tank 1 hit.
It can only tank.
Then we have the heal. Yeah, we've fixed it now. Moorwile still in the active position. It does make life a little bit more awkward for Teddy, and the barrel has begun to draw 4 cards. So we're all good now.
Yeah, we see the Moorwile
Stadium's there. I think we'll put the Town Store down this turn. It's going to be the Forest Hill Stone at last on that Hisuian Electrode V.
Yeah. You see the double turbo energy. You can imagine a tempting trap coming out right now for the Moorwile.
This Clorf is going to get knocked out via poison anyway. Unless Teddy was able to draw into a gusting supporter as well here. Didn't quite get to scout the 5. Oh, we do have boss's orders.
Yeah, we do have boss's orders. We have boss's orders.
So we can tempting trap, you know, Brute Bonnet or Radiant Hisuian Sneasler here if you wish.
Could be the
barrel instead.
The barrel coming out into the active. Double turbo down, tempting trap now. An option for Teddy that's going to be used.
Just going to be trapping this barrel, but we know that Jesper does have switch remaining, and they have only 1 prize card remaining, so there we go. Time is called, but Jesper does have the final switch required, the spicy season curry. So we can see the unhinged scissors for the KO. And that means it's going to be 1-1 here with our Clorf mirror match in round 8. Both players are still in the tournament. They are 5-2-1 now, so they have one last chance. I tell you what, when we put Clorf Hisuian Electrode on the stream, we were having a bit of a gag. We were having a bit of fun with that one. Players love seeing these wacky decks in action. But I was not expecting what we've just witnessed.
No, I thought it was going to be a bit of a slogfest. I thought it was going to be, you know, one knockout after the other, you know, with the Clorfs coming down. But it was actually much more intricate than we first thought it was. You know, I really underestimated this matchup. And what's even better is that, yes, they did tie. Nobody did take a win, of course. But that means that they're both still in it. They can both still get a win, and we can still get 2 more Clorf into day 2.
Let's both make it.
Let's both make it.
Let's get it on the graphic tomorrow. The meta percentage. Let's get it right on in there alongside the Muse, the Lost Boxes, the Miraidons. The Clorf can hang with the